Okay, we are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Beer with Claude. Kind of an informal little get together I like to do on Fridays. I have my beer ready. I hope you do too. And feel free to join me if you'd like, or post a question if you have it. I'm the author of the Gut Sales Method. I've written four books on sales. I've written a bunch of books on real estate, lease purchasing in particular. If somebody wants to connect here, your guest will need to connect there. Okay, I don't know who this person is, but they're not. I'm going to kick them out. Okay, good. And I wanted to talk about today, one of the topics I wanted to talk about was, do you need to presentations when we talk about sales? Most people, when you say sales, well, the minute they get a prospect, they have to talk about presentations. How do you give a presentation? And in Guts, we don't really want to give presentations. Let's define it. You get a prospect, they say they're interested in real estate or Amway shampoo or whatever you're selling. And the traditional salesperson goes immediately and starts talking about sales. Okay. They just they go into that presentation with all that intellectual gobbledygook. They start giving that so-called intellectual presentation. Trouble is, you don't really know what they want or need. And then they go to sleep because their presumption is that, oh God, another salesperson just wants to put their hand on my wallet. And here we go again. Guts is a lot different. We don't give a presentation prematurely. And that's the best part. And that's the best part about it. You get to talk to people normally. In fact, I spoke with a couple of my prospects today. And the number one problem that I did hear was that they're scared of the phone. The phone is like a cactus to them. This thing is just horrible to touch. And it just makes the whole thing uncomfortable. I spoke to this one woman today, and she said, Claude, I got somebody on the phone, and they were just all over me. They were nasty. They were snippy. Have you guys ever spoken to somebody who just went right for you? Somebody just joined me here. Hey, Jose.
Hey, how are you, Claude?
I'm good, man. You got your beer?
I already drank it. Sorry. I had my Corona. I had my little Corona light. Okay.
There you go, man.
Yeah.
This is my. I'm drinking my Michelob Ultra. For those of you who are following.
Okay.
I was talking a little bit. I met this one lady today, and she said a common problem. She said, Claude, I got on the phone with somebody, and they just attacked me. They said, oh, you're the 10th salesperson to call me about my home. It was a property for sale or for rent. I don't remember which. And all over her. And she said, Claude, I don't want to make any more phone calls. I can't, and she was taking already a very expensive program with a guru. And basically they went over the strategies. They had a marketing program. But when she got on the phone, she just got a bad guy right off the bat, man. It was all over her. And she said, Claude, I don't want to make any more calls. And I said, this is a very, very common problem. Have you, do you know what I'm talking about, Jose?
Yeah, I do. Sometimes people just have a bad Friday,
What do you do when you get, so you got to have a sales system that keeps you away from the traditional banter, the traditional script.
Yeah.
That all salespeople have. Hi there. How are you today? Just reaching out. Can I ask you a few questions? And boom.
Well,
you get the wrong prospect on the wrong day. They're all over you, man.
It's like you say. Many of them are just taught not the proper way of communicating effectively to people, and what they're told. They're taught that the old-fashioned way, the used car salesman, the aluminum siding way, sales. And I think that that's a technique, like you said, Many people try, but I think nowadays people are a lot more sophisticated. They don't like to be sold, and I think that's the problem, that the salespeople are not being trained properly. They focus more on the dollars of trying to sell, and they think that you have to bamboozle people into being able to and that's not what we're there to basically explain to people effectively the methods, but let them, the product, they always say the product sells itself. If you present it properly in the right order and be patient, then the information will just develop on its own. And it's like the customer revealing that he knows the answer. We're just there to guide him, like you say, like a doctor, and presenting it that way.
You want to act like a doctor. Nobody, when you go to your doctor or any professional for that matter, you have a pain or a problem, anything, and you go to that professional, they have to do a diagnosis right away. Right. What's the problem? Why are you here? And they do that and be in their professional capacity, so they know how to treat you, what to prescribe. So they do an examination, a diagnosis, and then a prescription or something, a recommendation. Right. And I think that's the best way to sell, rather than throwing the kitchen sink at somebody. Somebody says hello, they're respirating, and you're just going to throw stuff at them. And they're just going to say, I'll think about it, send me more information. And that gets real tiresome. I think everyone's gone through that. That gets real boring after a while.
Yeah.
And, that's not the way to sell. When I get on the phone, I'll say, hey, Mr. Prospect, why are we speaking today? Or you must have sold that home already. Oh, you haven't? Why are you selling that home? It sounds like a nice place. You're living there, right? And I'm going to try to draw them out somehow without giving a presentation. I think presentations are the death of salesmen. They throw everything at them. Oh, this is what I do, and this is it works this way, and they tell them everything, and then they ask for the order. Maybe maybe 5 times or more. They still say that in sales books.
Yeah.
Tyrone Miller says, give them the 3-minute timer treatment. Absolutely. 3 minutes. I think in 3 minutes, if you're doing this right and you cut to the chase, you should have a pretty good idea of whether or not you've got a prospect or a waste of time.
Right.
Okay. Listen, I screwed up today. I had one phone call. I have a lot of calls. I talk to a lot of people every day. And I get right into my system, asking questions. Why are we talking today? What would you like to see happen? Why are you selling that home? Why are you buying a home? Why are you investing in a home? And I had one guy today in Florida, very personable guy, a real talker. Funny coming from me. And I was about 25, 30 minutes on the phone with the guy. And I thought we were going to do some business. And then he started telling, I'm broke. Okay. I should have found that out 30 minutes earlier.
Right. Well, your techniques, Claude, are very refreshing because you could see that it's a very methodical way of being able to dissect and come up with the solutions that are custom fit to the customer. Not everybody's the same. And so you have to be able to approach them in a manner with sincerity, and people they can sense that. They can sense that, and that's the important thing, that you're sincere, you're being open, you're not going to waste their time, you're not going to waste your time, and if you do things like that in the beginning, then you'll know exactly where you're steering that conversation, and it tends to flow naturally. And I think that I'm reading your material right now, and I'm really enjoying it because it makes sense. And like I said, it's very refreshing to hear that.
Sales, for sales for most people, is kind of akin to public speaking I'll share a little something personal here. There was a time in my life I would rather do anything, man, clean toilets, whatever, than wrestle an alligator nude in Macy's picture window, then speak in front of two nuns and a Boy Scout.
What an ugly picture. Oh.
And it was a personal and in my business, public speaking is required, especially if you're, not only it helps to build up your confidence and it strengthens your sales skills. And I hated it, but I studied it. I studied with some great people, public speaking, and I learned how to relax, how to get my point across, how to have a lot of fun doing that. And sales is the same thing. You've got to be able to get on that phone and speak spontaneously. That's why I'm so against. There's some very popular gurus out there, and they sell these monster books of scripts. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with them, except I think it makes you dependent on the script rather than learning to sit back and say, okay, what kind of personality am I dealing with? What's this guy really want, girl want? What are they looking to achieve? What's their core problem? If they found a solution to their problem, could they make a commitment? Can they pay for the problem? Do they have the authority to make a decision? Is it timely? Can they make a decision today? And do they have the character to keep that commitment? That's a lot. Sales is very dangerous, I always like to say. It's really hard. You're talking to all these different personalities all over the world today. I talk to people all over the world on an average day. Australia, Asia, Africa, Europe, of course.
Do you see it as a form of art?
Good question. I think sales is the art and science of persuasion. To me, it is the $1 million skill that very few people are teaching. Okay, it's an art form. You could learn my gut sales method, but you also have to be a little bit of a thespian and a good actor. You have to make people comfortable while you're talking. If you just give a bunch of facts and figures, and if you just ask questions like you're cross-examining them, they're not going to like that. It's going to be a little abrasive. So you have to combine the science, and there's a lot of science in guts. There's a lot of different areas that I've studied in the psychology of persuasion. But you also got to be able to create an environment and make people comfortable. I call it acting. So it is definitely an art form. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it takes time. It really does take time to practice it. And in the past few days, I've caught myself thinking in my mind the steps and methodically asking questions with the intention of trying to make the person say what I'm thinking, what I want them to say, or pushing them in that direction. And it's interesting how it works. So I find myself thinking like the gut methodology in hopes that I would hear their question to continue the conversation in that direction. And so I'm sort of analyzing it as I go. And it's very interesting that the psychology of people, how that works.
You have to learn that giving a presentation by itself doesn't work, because you don't know what to present to that person. What are their needs? What's their motivation? Okay. What is their emotional quotient? Can you make them emotional about it? So when someone asks you a question, go ahead, ask me any kind of question. Why is the sky blue? Anything.
So Claude, do you think that the reason that you say that scripts don't work, it's because scripts are fake or canned, and it doesn't apply. It doesn't apply. It's better for it to come out naturally, because every person is a case by case, you see. So that's why memorizing scripts just don't work. You have to be able to spontaneously react, because we're all unique, we're all special, we all have different ways of thinking. And so you have to be able to communicate on the spot, be able to think and analyze and assess, and be able then to respond to that person. People like, how does that work? You know, how you think
ask me a simple question. I'll tell you.
Question.
Just
Okay.
a short, simple question. Go
Okay,
ahead.
Claude, do you think that this week you can sell 10 people? You try to do what's the max you try to do in 1 week?
Okay, you froze up there, so ask your question again. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Well, how many people have you been able to market to the most in 1 week?
Now that's an interesting question. I'm not sure. I don't know. That's a lot of people. Now you must have asked that for a reason. Why is that important to you about how many people I market to or talk to every week?
Well, the reason I ask is because from the little, or from what I've read, is that you're basically always saying call at least 5 per day. Is 5 the magic number that works best for you?
Well, that's a great question. Okay, off the role play for a second.
Okay.
Did I ever answer your question initially? No.
No.
You see, you didn't even see what I was doing. I said, I don't know. It's a good question. You must have asked it for a reason. Now I got you to give me. See, you don't even know in sales. You even in role playing, sometimes you learn some stuff. So when I answer a question with a little nurturing or stroke, that's a compliment. And I say, gee, I'm not sure if I understand what you mean here. That's a good question, though. Why did you ask it? And then you redefine it, and you give me even more information.
Right.
Oh, well, I'm interested in this or that. And part of guts is getting the prospect to do all the work for you.
Yeah. And that's so smooth. It's so smooth. The transition of the redirection of that is so smooth that I immediately forget that you were asking me that, that question.
Right. Guts is a lot about getting the person so relaxed. It's almost one of the people I studied extensively was Dr. Milton Erickson. He's the father of what is called conversational hypnosis or stealth hypnosis. And I don't mean turning people into chickens and things like that. I mean, but by controlling the conversation, controlling the imagery in their head, by the words you use and how you say them.
Yeah.
Okay. And he used to be able to analyze people and their problems just by getting them to relax and get in that a light trance state, as they called it. Okay. And we just really just did a little example of that too. We can do some more later. If your question was serious, though, I think to be successful in this business, everybody's working on the wrong end of the problem. They're going back to their books and tapes. They're going back to studying different strategies and things like that. They do everything except the one thing that can make them money today, and that's speaking to another human being today. I believe that you need to speak to a minimum of 3 to 5 people a day. Speak directly. We even have a special way of leaving voicemails so that you get a high response rate. I do only virtual attraction marketing, so people call me and schedule with me every day. On a good day, I will speak to somewhere between 10 to 15 people. Okay. I mean, my day starts real early. I love it too. This is my biggest problem. I love sales. Sales to me is that $1 million skill. I'm going to speak. I am so grateful to my mentor who taught me how to sell, because I was a guy who struggled. The phone was not my friend.
That's hard to believe, Claude.
Honestly, my
I
word
don't know how you can sell that one.
it's the truth. I was uncomfortable. I was going through my head the scripts, the outlines. Oh, I better talk about this and this. I was so consumed by all the junk to throw out against the wall and see what sticks. instead of just sitting back there like a doctor, like a therapist, like a good attorney, and saying, gee, what's the problem? What are you looking for? Is this, do you have a budget set up for that? If you found a solution to your problem, sir, what would you wouldn't take an action today, would you? That's a little too fast, isn't it? And we do a lot of things like, and here's Mr. Harvard. Mr. Harvard even joined us today. There we go. But the thing is, if I can speak to people and make everybody relax and get them, see, there's something wonderful that happens with the gut sales method. I can actually get the prospect to become the salesperson. Gee, Mr. Harvard, I don't understand your question there. What do you mean you need you need three bedrooms, sir?
Well, yeah, we're expecting a new baby, so we're excited. She's coming in maybe in about 3 weeks. So, we got to have another room, a 3-bedroom.
Oh, wow. And, well, gee, 3 weeks left before you have the baby.
Yeah.
Why didn't you get something months ago? I don't understand here.
We recently had some setbacks, some minor financial setbacks due to COVID. So it's like, hey, now is the time. We've come into a church foundation that actually helped us. So we're now in position to purchase a home. So we're ready.
Oh, okay. So now you want that room so you can have that nursery. You and your wife can have a little bit more room, and you want to get into home ownership, basically,
yes.
Right?
Yeah. Yes.
You're not. I mean, it sounds like you're renting a nice place, though. Why not just stay there for another year or two?
Well, right now we have 2 babies. So, right now, So right now we have 2 babies out, and now it's getting kind of crowded in here. And now with the 3rd one, you can't imagine having, 4 or 5 asses on one toilet. It's kind of it's a headache.
I like the way you put that. You mind if we talk about money for a moment? You brought up that you're getting some kind of assistance to buy the home. When you say assistance, do you mean with the monthly payments, with the down payment? I hope you don't mind me asking.
Oh, no, I don't mind. And you're right. It is with the down payment. And the first month's mortgage also.
Could you tell me could you share that with me in round numbers? I'm taking some notes here, and maybe I can help you if I know. So when you say a down payment, are we talking about 5, 10, 20,000 or more?
Yes, it's 10,000. It's 10,000.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Boom. What off the role play? What did I just learn?
Yeah. Well. Yeah. What did you learn from that?
Yeah. What did he say that gave me a? See, he's giving me the tools. Now I know he has 10,000 right away. Mm-hmm. So if I got a property, I know I need 20,000. I know I got a problem I got to fix through financing, or I got to say it won't happen.
Right.
Then I also have to find out what he can afford per month, so I can do a deal with this guy and make some money up front. Yeah. So it's so great. See, did I tell him anything? He's asking me questions, but I haven't said anything. And you won't see what I'm doing while I'm doing it. That's that hypnotic trance I talk about, that conversational hypnosis.
You sort of feel like you're getting drawn in. You're drawn into that conversation, and it is a form of hypnotizing, as you say.
It really is. Hypnosis is just a form of relaxation. Yeah. Did you ever drive your car on a highway and the white lines are going past you and you're doing a little daydreaming there, and then all of a sudden you have that little shutter, and you say, oh, wow, where was it? Whoa, I'm driving the car here, man. I better wake up. Your brain was working in a different area at that moment.
Hey, Claude, one thing you didn't draw from Harvard? What kind of beer is he drinking?
Oh, he's a wino.
Oh, okay. Nice to meet you, Harvard. Okay. Nice I didn't know if you were drinking beer yet or not. I just wanted to know what your brand was.
I came in as soon as I could, and I just got out the gym, so I'm drinking water right now.
Okay.
Drinking water.
Good for you. How many? Let's see what I did today.
I already know you did about 13 miles.
I do 10 a day. No, I'm a little light. I'm about 9.2, so I'm gonna have to go on the treadmill a little later.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I did 3 miles on the treadmill, and
Good
I did 10 miles and 10 miles on the bike.
Excellent. Every day And it was cold. It was cold here this morning.
Yeah.
I'm up in the mountains here in Colorado, and oh my gosh, it was 27 degrees this morning.
Wow. Below freezing now.
We are getting into ski season right now.
And that's strange you say that. I was at a Goodwill the other day, and I saw a set of skis. I'm like, what the heck is this doing here? I'm in Georgia. Who the hell got skis here?
Yeah, I don't know if what kind of skiing you have in Georgia, but
Right.
Not good.
You can't ski down Stone.
No. I think the closest ski area is Beach Mountain in North Carolina.
Mm.
That's way down. That's as far south as skiing goes.
Okay.
Down there, but I'm up here in the mountains. Colorado goes up to 14,000 feet. Some of the areas.
Wow.
Ski season usually starts in early November here. I have taken my kids trick-or-treating in 2 feet of snow. We get over 300 inches of snow here. Wow. In this part of Colorado.
Yeah, and actually, it's funny you mentioned about snow. I'm from Detroit, so we get similar weather here. I'm in Georgia now. We've been here about 10 months, and we're still harvesting. We still got kale and mustard greens and broccoli and stuff popping out in the backyard. I'm like, I'm not even used to this. I'm just keep watering.
So I took a run this morning. I had to do something I haven't done for months. I had to put on pants while I was running. I had to put on a hat. I had to put on gloves with glove warmers, those little. And I mean, it was refreshing. It was beautiful, but man, it gets cold here now.
Do you do indoor?
I go on the treadmill for 1 or 2 miles in the morning. Then I usually go outside and I'll knock out 5 to 10 miles if I can.
Yeah,
depends on my schedule.
right.
Okay, usually my scheduled calls start somewhere between 8 or 9 o'clock. I get up very early. I get up 5:30 in the morning. I do my exercise. It's real important for have my good cup of go-go juice coffee.
Right.
Go outside, take a nice run, real refreshing. Before this COVID, I used to do 10 laps, and I used to go into the steam room, the jacuzzi, and do 10 laps in the pool.
Wow.
I've got a beautiful health club a half a mile away from me here. But I'm staying away from health clubs right now.
Wow. Well, it gives you the energy that you need to keep on going, to be able to continue to talk on the phone.
Well, it doesn't matter how much money you make if you're not healthy enough to enjoy it.
That's true.
Yeah, it's 100% true. And I've learned that through you, Claude, and I appreciate that because that actually motivated me to join the 5 a.m. club. There's a book with Robert, I believe his name Robert Schramm, if I'm not mistaken, with the Mind Valley like Quest clubs or something like that. They have a book called the 5 a.m. Club. So he just he took Benjamin Franklin, just took it back an hour pretty much, so.
I love getting up early in the morning, particularly in the summer. Up here in the mountains, the sun starts coming up around 4:45. I mean, really early. And I love going out exercising. Then I have a full day of schedule. Usually I have a lot of heart appointments set up automatically through my webpage. And the key to business, back to the original, what Jose brought up, speaking to people.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, there you go. Tell Jose how shy I was when we first met.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's hard to believe. Hard to believe.
God's honest truth. I met him when he was 17. I was 16. Oh, man. Yeah.
Because beautiful women make me nervous.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I am a salesman.
No, really, though. He was the most bashful person in the world. God's honest truth.
Yeah.
Now he won't shut the F up, right?
Well, actually, when he's really quiet, I come in the office to make sure he's, okay. Because, oh my gosh, he's never quiet.
I give good phone.
Good phone.
Yes.
Give good phone.
Is this Jose? Is it Ayala?
Ayala.
Yala.
Hello.
Ayala.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
I know who Nehemiah is.
Oh, really? That's good, man.
Yeah.
That's good. That's wonderful. I'm glad that you know me. As long as that means I'm doing something really good.
That's right. And Claude tells me you do. So.
Oh, yeah. Hey, and we just got a famous lady who came on here, Tashi, Professor T.
Woo!
Professor Tashiata. Come join us, Tashi, if you like.
Hi, Tashi.
Yeah. Tashi has one of my favorite podcasts on every Wednesday, right from
Florida.
Florida, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey,
Wow.
if you want to join us for a moment, Tashi, there, I just put the link in there. Would love to see you. And put your
I'll let you go.
okay. See you later,
I heard
sweetie.
you talking. I wanted to say hi to everybody.
All right. Tonight is pizza night.
Tonight's pizza.
Is there? Oh, we got a real celebrity here, so I hope she can join us. This is a sharp lady.
Nice lady.
A nice lady too, and she's a professor of communications, media, in Florida.
You know, and I was born in Florida, and you know, I recently just got my FCC license because I'm looking to get into radio as well. Because
really,
yes, it was like 3 or 4 months ago when I spoke, and everybody was like, "Man, you have a great voice." I was like, "Really? I never thought about that." You know, so yeah.
I'll share a little secret with you guys. One of my great loves is talk radio.
Yes.
I listened it used to be regular radio. Now it's podcasts. I love talk radio. Brad Crandall. I'm trying to think of some, Larry King.
Yes.
I love, and I was always amazed that these people could come on night after night and just talk for hours. How do you prepare for that? Do you need, is there a script? Back to scripts, Jose. Is there a script you could do?
Larry King even said that. He was like, there is no script. You know, he just comes and goes with the energy flow. That's in the flow of it. And that's why he said, you know, you can ask why 1,000 times and get 1,000 different answers, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's the one guy? He does a podcast. His name is Joe something. He's got millions of followers. He just left from California and he moved to Texas.
Joe Rogan.
That's it. Thank you.
Yeah.
And he's a great talk. He's a wonderful interviewer. He knows just when to jump in, and he makes people so comfortable that he gets something. He interviews famous people, all kinds of people, from all facets of life and business, and he seems to draw out of them great stories and information. It's very entertaining. I've always been amazed at people who can speak spontaneously. And I think that ties into business and sale. Can you make I'm a big fan of Dr. Robert Cialdini, who wrote The Psychology of Persuasion. I talk about him often. And he wrote that there's 6 basic ways to persuade somebody, to get them to buy your stuff. And, one of them was the scarcity, reciprocity, social proof or conformity. And his most important ones were likability. How do you get people to, I was talking with a gentleman today who ran a very successful bar. And I said, did you have regular customers? And he said, yeah, all the time. We loved our regulars. We treated them special when they came in because we know they'd come again and again. And I said, why do you think they kept coming back? And there was a little bit of silence. And then he said, we always try to remember their names. We always welcome them. Once in a while, we'd bring them a free drink or something like that. We engaged with them. Well, how's the family? How are you? And everything. And I think it's kind of the Cheers effect. Remember that TV show Cheers?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want a place where everyone knows your name.
Right.
Can you do that magic with a cold call? Somebody who's got a house for rent or for sale. Can you talk to that person and convey that feeling in seconds, in minutes? Can you make someone that comfortable that quickly?
Yes. Yes, just by being.
You're gonna embarrass me. Don't show those pictures. No pictures.
I was 17. He was 18. Wow. That's my junior prom.
Wow.
That's Claude. That's when he was bashful.
Wow.
Before the guts.
Isn't he cute?
He does look a little shy there.
He is shy. He still is shy. But yeah, he was 18. I was 17. My junior prom.
Wow.
That looks like a magical photo.
No dates. Okay,
No
never
dates.
mind.
Don't
I can't
age
say
me.
the date. Never mind. He keeps saying he's 36, except our daughter just turned 34 today. So I don't think he's 36.
Hey, Claude, your hair hasn't changed a bit.
No. He's had people ask if he wears a wig. No. It's the real deal, I can tell you.
Thank God. Wow. Thank God for hair dye. That's all I gotta say.
No, that's not.
I got it from my mother. Good genes. But you know, it's amazing. Can you make somebody so comfortable? What do you want people to say about you when they get off the phone? Forget about the whole sales and everything. What do you want them to feel about you or say about you when they hang up the phone? Jose or Nehemiah, what do you guys think?
That they sincerely listened to what I had to say.
What do you want them to say about you? What do you want them to say about you, though?
That he listened, and I think he's a good communicator. That I think that he's sincere and that he does truly want to help me in whatever the situation is that I'm describing, or that that helps person.
Nehemiah, what do you think?
Yeah, well, yeah, I want someone to actually feel like they know me. I want that likability. To get on the phone and just immediately start talking to them as if I've known them for 10 years, like we're childhood friends, and they're like, wait a minute, who are you? And it's like, just be comfortable enough to have that conversation with them where it's like, you're able to open up and trust me. Trust.
You said $1 billion word, not $1 million. What happens when you get another human being who was a stranger 5 minutes ago to start saying, I like this person, I think I could trust him? Sean says, I like the guy and could picture myself doing biz with him. Mm-hmm. What happens when you make that magic happen in sales, in business? Another human being respects you, likes you, maybe even trusts you. Have you just decimated? Have you just destroyed your competition? Immediately. Doesn't matter if I'm a little guy and I live in some nice houses and stuff, but I'm a little guy who talks to people, and I have a lot of competitors in my business. People who spend a lot of money, have a lot of employees, fancy offices and everything. And I'm one guy who gets on the Zoom or on FaceTime or Skype, and I talk to people, scheduled appointments, buying, selling, investing, whatever. And I just talk to people, and I'm able to defeat my competition who spend an enormous amount of money to try to get that prospect to say yes. And I can do that by talking to someone and hopefully making them feel like they can like me, they can trust me, that they're getting value. Value is very important also.
Yeah. Yes. Gotta add value. And that's where it comes down to the win-win. That person that's on that other line, you're talking to them and they're like, what are you trying to get from me, and what do I get from you? And without even having to address that trust and likability is like, it's a win-win. I want to work with this guy.
Exactly. Sean says here, long form podcasts are the best because you can really get the details on a subject matter. And he said it was Joe Rogan. Thank you. I think Nehemiah, you said that also. Yes. And guy's a great interviewer. He lets the person he's interviewing speak, and he really draws out from them. That's really a form of persuasion. You ever hear an interview with somebody and they're a deer in the headlights. They're all nervous and everything like that. And you got a guy like Joe Rogan. I mean, millions of people listen to this guy. He's very successful. He gets paid millions of dollars a year for his podcast interviews. I like to study people who are so good at communication and get people to relax so much that they can draw out the information that the audience wants to hear. The little nuggets, the tidbits. Jeff Palian says he liked you. And, it's just about, can you make a total Here's what I always give my students is the challenge. Can you go out today? This was before COVID. I don't know, Nehemiah, do you remember the homework assignment I gave everybody?
Make sure we go and communicate with at least 5 people, 5 strangers.
Right. And before COVID, I used to say, I want you to go out to talk to the Walmart greeter at the door, talk to the barista at Starbucks.
Yeah.
I want you to, can you initiate a spontaneous conversation to somebody else without sounding manipulative or threatening?
Yes.
Can you go to a bar and talk to a pretty girl? Now, I know we all have relationships here, so we're speaking here in a hypothetical situation. But could you go out right now? Could you go to a social place with no preconceived anything? You wanted to. Isn't it fun to talk to people?
Yes.
Did you ever? What's the best part? What's the worst party of the year? New Year's Eve, I think. Okay, I don't like. I've never liked New Year's Eve parties because God, now I'm in bed at 9:30 anyway. But the thing is, can you speak spontaneous to someone in the supermarket line?
Yes.
Can you challenge yourself to do that? Mom said don't talk to strangers, and here your Uncle Claude is saying, I want you to practice speaking to everybody. Why?
Yeah, because you learn so much, and so many different personalities in this world, and you really open yourself up to just opportunities when you do that. I believe in it. We're living in abundance when we're more open and free and just communicating, not with this COVID BS. Don't talk to me. Don't come close to me. Cover your mouth. Put your muzzle on. It's like,
And it's amazing that with the masks that you wear now, they say body language, you're able to see the lips and be able to get and draw people in by that. Not in having a mask, of course, there's going to be a hindrance in our communication. I often find myself struggling talking through the mask.
It's hard to talk through the mask, and it's something, when you mention body language and being able to actually communicate with people. I remember a story. I'll just tell a quick, brief story. In fact, I'm going to start my 3-minute timer here. That I'm just going to. I remember being in Iraq, and we were.
I gotta get one of those.
Yeah, you can get it off Amazon. This is
okay.
Pretty. Yeah. It's very valuable. Look, Claude has at least 50 in there, and he can send you one if need be. Look at that.
That's if he's gonna do 9 minutes, he flips all 3.
All 3, yeah. He flips each one. If the conversation is, he's one call closed Claude for a reason, because he got the timer to that, and a box full of timers.
Got it by the box.
We buy them by the gross, man.
Oh my goodness.
That's funny.
I love it.
Can you ever have enough 3-minute timers?
Harvard, I only ran into his material less than a week ago.
Oh wow!
Hasn't changed your life in any way, has it?
Well, I've been thinking about it every time I go someplace, and I start to hear that voice in my head of the pattern that the 3-step that we follow. The agenda. The what is it? The commitment is the last one, but then the qualifying is the center.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm starting to see myself speak that way and practice the questioning.
Yeah.
And drawing people in those conversations and taking it and watching it develop, blossom.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing that as to what he is preaching, if you will. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's really something to see that, because you can engage people in such a way that I feel like you're having a refreshing conversation.
The thing about it in communication, I think we've lost the $1 million sales skill. The ability to just converse. Before we had big screen TVs and the internet and Netflix and Hulu and HBO and everything. What did we used to do in the old days? People used to sit around, play cards, games. They used to convert. People used to just get together and talk.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe we still do that to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But I think over the years, because I've always, I read one book, and it was called "Where Have All the Salesmen Gone?" Okay. And if you've ever met somebody who, this is what the profound effect my mentor had on me. He was such a bigger than life personality. He was so gregarious, and he could get on the phone with a stranger and immediately develop that, what's the word I'm looking for? That rapport. It's a better word than rapport. He just had this natural ability to get people to like him and start sharing the information. They'd say, well, to tell you the truth or to be perfectly honest, this is the real problem now, because I feel like I know you. He'd break down these barriers. And when you get information from instead of, and this is the premise of today's topic, getting a prospect on the phone, we tend to blah, 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 and give this boring, long features and benefit presentation, when it's probably a lot better. No, it's actually a lot better to get the prospect to do more talking and to share their needs, their greeds, their problems, their budget, their decision-making capabilities, the timeliness, what their character is like. And if we can get people emotionally involved, oh my God, the magic happens. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a superstar here. We have Dr. Tashi here.
Hey, Claude. Hello, everyone. How are you?
Oh, wow. Yes.
I'm so
amazing.
honored to have you on. Tell everybody what you do and when you do it.
So I am the host of a show called Mediascope, and I talk all about media, tech, and pop culture news every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern on Periscope, Facebook Live, LinkedIn Live, and WJMSradio.com. And my producer and I also do another show called And We're Live, and that's actually where we teach people to do this, use video and live stream for their business and beyond. So, yeah.
And you exemplify exactly what we're talking today about. We were talking about great talk show hosts and
thank you.
You come on the screen and you have this one charisma. That was the word.
Charisma.
Okay.
Charisma. Yes.
You have a beautiful smile and you're real relaxed.
Thank you.
And I know you prepare your show before you do it because you have and everything. But you're very what's the word? You're very relaxed. How important is it? Because you teach media.
Yeah.
How do you teach people to be themselves and to just be relaxed, comfortable in their own skin?
I think that people look at this type of thing in public speaking, because I've been teaching public speaking for 19 years now, and they look at it as a big, ominous conversation with a bunch of people. So I tell them, you're just having a conversation with me. Don't worry about everybody else. Talk to me. There's also something called the mom rule. Like if you were explaining something or talking to your mother about something, would you read it like a newscaster? Or would you say, I had a really great day today. I had apples, I had bananas, they were tasty. I shared that, you would have a casual conversation, right? So think about talking with, if not your mother, somebody that, you would have a normal, regular conversation with. And then think about you and one other person. If it's too intimidating to think about all the other people. That's what I say. Yeah.
I think being yourself, being relaxed. I think in the beginning and you said public speaking. I think one of the best things somebody can do who's a little self-conscious or nervous is to take, what's the name of that? There's a great course. Is it Toastmasters?
Toastmasters, Toastmaster clubs. Yeah.
Toastmasters.
One of the books they also teach is, of course, as you're speaking, I'm thinking of Dale Carnegie.
Oh,
Win Friends and Influence People. It's one of the first books they teach you in public speaking because it's developing that likability.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny that you say that, because when you teach it, like I've been teaching it on the university level, and academically it's approached very differently than when not even lay people, but when other people speak. And sometimes it's too academic and too technical. And I'm like, nobody does this in real life. So I just, kind of adjust for what happens in real life. I don't give a damn what they told me to teach.
Right.
This is what I'm teaching.
How long has that book been around? How long has that book been around? It's
gosh.
For years.
Since has it even been 100 years yet?
It's got to be. Oh my God! And it's a great book. It's one of my favorites. win friends and influence people.
Yeah.
I had a lot of trouble public speaking. It was one of the scariest things I ever had to face.
I can't believe it.
I had to get my business up and running when I first started. And I think it's Tashi, maybe you'll agree or disagree, but I think public speaking is one of the best marketing tools in the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's also one of the biggest fears behind the fear of heights. Public speaking is second.
Right.
So those people who know how to master public speaking, this is why, have you ever noticed that there are people who just spew rubbish, but they have a bunch of followers? It's because they've mastered the art of speaking well.
The art of persuasion. Yeah.
Yes, but there's talking rubbish, a whole bunch of nonsense. But people are like, yes, I don't know what the hell she said, but yes. You know, so there is power in it.
Oh, yeah. Someone has to explain the Kardashians to me. They have created an empire by showing us their horrible lives.
Because we want to see their horrible lives. That's the thing. We are very enamored by celebrity because I can't remember the name of the individual, but the person who was on Mediascope, Troy, who was on Mediascope on Wednesday, we interviewed him for the podcast that I do. And I can't remember who he said it was, but he said, you know why they're called stars? And it was one particular individual in Hollywood who wanted them to be called stars because stars are kind of untouchable. They're ethereal. You can't get to them. So that's why they're called, stars. And because we find them untouchable and ethereal, we want to know more. So we're so enamored by everything celebrity. We really are.
Yeah. What are they going to say next? Oh my God, did they really just say that? Or it's controversial, or God forbid, it's entertaining. It makes you laugh, or it draws you in. And I think that's a real skill set to develop with it. Toastmasters is great public speaking. It took me a while. One of the books I read, Claudia actually found me a book. I think it was at a garage sale. It was by Dale Carnegie. One of his not popular books. It was called Public Speaking.
Yes.
And I read, and it was an old tattered material covered book, and it was brilliant. And I read this, and about being comfortable and relaxing and speaking on topics that you've researched, that you know about.
Yes.
And just to be, there's a wonderful thing. Everybody's a little anxious or nervous when they're speaking in front of an audience, whether it's on Zoom or in front of a live audience. And after that, you ever notice this, Tashi? After 5 minutes, the anxiety goes away and you get in that zone. You're comfortable and you're intermingling with the audience, and you can. That's the thing about the difference, I think, between being in person and a live audience. When you're speaking in front of a couple hundred people, or when you're on Zoom, when you get that feedback, when they're laughing, when they're interacting, they're asking questions. And I love that. Today, I actually love it. I look forward to it.
It's the best feeling in the world. And I think because of teaching and then acting, that I've been used to being in front of audiences. So I had the apprehension when I was little. But once I got to high school, I was like, where's the microphone?
And talk to me.
I had no problem because I was used to it by that point. So, and the way you get used to it is to continuously expose yourself to presentation and speaking situations. It may not be comfortable. It may not be fun, but that's the only way you get used to it and start to lessen the anxiety.
Yeah.
You said a word here that really piqued my. You said acting.
Yeah.
I talk a lot
Thespian.
I talk a thespian, not a dirty word.
Yeah.
I think, and to a lot of people, what do you mean? What do you mean be a good actor? And when I say act, I talk about creating an environment where people are interested to interact and they feel relaxed, and not to manipulate, but to make them comfortable.
Yes.
And how important you're a media expert. How important is it how does acting fit into all this?
Wow. Well, acting, that's actually a form of communication as well. So all of this kind of factors together. And what I tell people, so years ago, back when Will and Grace was on the first time, Deborah Messing was on Oprah, so this goes back a ways, and said that one of her biggest fears was public speaking. So I asked my students, but she's in front of people all the time. She's constantly, she's on a major show. Why do you think this is a problem? And they couldn't figure it out. Or how do you think she's able to get through it? And I said, because she's acting. When you are acting, you're playing a character. So if you think about yourself as the best public speaker in the world or the most adept salesperson in the world, and you put that, you kind of speak it into existence. It's like Pygmalion effect, and it becomes so, at least for you, right? So it's very important to incorporate that acting, and the theater helps. It also helps. That's probably why I'm so damn loud too, because I've been taught to project to the back of the room.
Oh yeah.
It's actually it's echoing in here. It's echoing. Like
I know I'm loud.
No.
I noticed that you also use your hands a lot.
I do.
We're all a little bit Italian here. Can I use a
Well, I'm African. I'm Nigerian. So Nigerian people use their hands all the time for everything they're doing to make emphasis on the thing they're talking. So Nigerians always do that.
Isn't that just good body language? When you go to when your person is talking and you go, "Wow, that's really," you lean forward.
Yes. Yes.
But if you sit back there, like that, with those little stink face and your arms crossed and everything, I think you can. That's why I love communicating with people on this live stream media, because you can really see if someone's fought. You know what's the worst thing in the world? Public speaking, by the way, someone in the front row starting to. What?
Right. Yeah.
That's why
I know you throw a bowl of Joel off at him, huh? You just. Is that right?
No, you don't waste good jollof rice. So if you don't know, Claude and Jose, jollof rice is a very popular rice in West Africa. Each country, like Senegal, has its version of it. It's called chebujen. They do jollof rice in Ghana. They do jollof rice in Nigeria. And in fact, there's like they call them the jollof wars as to who makes the best jollof rice. So yeah,
it's delicious.
I'm getting hungry here. What's everybody having for dinner tonight? Speaking of food, before we go, I always like to talk about food. Why do I like to talk about food? Because I think food is very sensual, very emotional. We're having pizza tonight. My wife makes great pizza, with the cheese is all hot and everything, and you bite into it, and it's and a little glass of wine on the side and everything. What's everybody thinking right now?
It's eating. Get some of that good cheesy pizza.
Yeah. When Tashi does her broadcast, she always has everybody do the emojis.
I'm definitely going to tune in. You say Wednesday, 6 p.m.
Yeah, we'd love to have you. And you're in Atlanta. Before COVID, I am actually the director for a talk show that we're pitching up there. So I'm in Atlanta a lot because of it. Yeah. So we'd love to have you as part of the Mediascope family. Claude is like a member extraordinaire, part of the Mediascope Council. We have a lot of fun, so we'd love to have you guys.
I don't know if you could drop your link in the chat or whatnot, but I'm gonna definitely tune in.
Yeah. You know what? If you're watching, I don't know if our guys are also watching on a platform, but I'll put it in on a platform. Okay, how about I to lower that? But yeah, I can put it in. Where should I put it, Claude?
What are you on right now? Oh wait, you're in StreamYard.
I'm in StreamYard, but I can put it in Facebook or Periscope or whatever you want.
Put it in, or just tell me and I'll put it in here.
Okay. So I am
www.
The Facebook is facebook.com/mediascope1616. So if you go to that page, you can watch it on Facebook. Okay. If you are a Periscope watcher, I am at TACHIADA at Tatiata, and that's also Twitter, so you can watch it in my Twitter feed as well. Or you could just listen on WJMSradio.com.
Yeah,
there we go.
This lady is so wonderful. She keeps me cool. She gives me the best pop culture, whatever's going on in the world, the things we How do you? Last question, because I really have to go in a minute.
Sure.
How do you pick the stories that you pick? You always know how to pick the best stories. How do you, out of all the stuff in the news and everything, and you try to stay apolitical, which I like. I'm the same way. I like to bring people together, not tear them apart. How do you pick those wonderful stories you always do?
You know, I get about, I think I have about 100 newsletters that I get every day, which is why my email is always so full. And out of them, I don't know, I just kind of feel, you know how you kind of feel things where I look at something, I'm like, they're not going to be interested. That is interesting, but I could use that. I could put that in my social media feed and people can read it there. But because we only have an hour, which we always go over, but
yeah, Mike now.
yeah, no, absolutely, because it's so much fun talking to people that you always end up going over, right, Claude? So
I do, yeah.
Yeah. So I just really go with the feeling of what I think people would be interested in, what I see. Like I pay attention to you guys, like what you're saying in the chat. And I'm like, all right, well, they may like this if I put it in there. So I pay attention. And then a lot of you will send me stories like, hey, did you hear about this? Oh, well, thank you, because I don't know everything. So I love when people send me stories.
Yeah. And you pick great stories, really topical, every Wednesday at 5 or 6 o'clock on
6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific.
There we go. There we go. Great. Ladies and gentlemen, what a surprise to have you on with us, Dr. T.
Thank you for having me.
And Jose and Nehemiah Harvard, thank you so much for joining us. This is a fast hour, isn't it?
It goes real quick.
We had nothing to talk about, right?
Nothing but love. Nothing but love. Thank you all. Thank you. Again.
Love to all you guys. Have a wonderful, safe, happy weekend, okay? And just remember, as I always end, nobody deserves success more than you good people. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.